It's difficult to find a single word to describe Harley Quinn. Sure, she's one of the most iconic characters in the lore of DC Comics and a fan favourite of many, but she's also one of the most complex and divisive characters at the same time. Originally created by Bruce Timm and Paul Dini for the popular Batman the Animated Series, Harley grew from essentially being a walk-on character in the episode Joker's Favour to becoming one of the shining stars of the series before being introduced into the comics in 1999 and now introduced onto the big screen in Suicide Squad. I think one of the most interesting dynamics with Harley Quinn is her questionable relationship with the Joker. In the origin given in the 1994 one-shot Mad Love, Dr. Harleen Quinzel, a psychiatrist at Arkham Asylum, becomes fascinated and later infatuated with the Joker to the point of donning a costume herself and breaking the Clown Prince of Crime out of the asylum. In an interview with Harley's co-creator Paul Dini, he says that mad love is when you fall so passionately for a person, particularly the wrong person, that nothing else in the world matters. Through Harley's tragicomic experiences, we catch a glimpse of ourselves in a funhouse mirror, distorted and all too willing to play the fool for someone we'd be much better off without. And while it's true that the comics have begun to distance Harley from the Joker and present her as her own individual character, it's the tragic fact that she will always, both in terms of story and editorial mandate, end up back with the Joker. Harley Quinn's relationship with the Joker could be described as anything from tragic to masochistic to even abusive. And while it could be argued that the Joker displays many signs of antisocial personality disorder, including his failure to obey laws, his lack of remorse, and a just overall lack of regard for himself or others, Harley, however, shares some of these symptoms with the Joker, but also displays a lot of signs of histrionic personality disorder. Histrionic personality disorder is characterised by constant attention-seeking, emotional overreaction and suggestibility. Harley shows many of these characteristics. Her entire look is often depicted as highly sexualised, and she often tries to focus herself as the centre of attention, while of course trying to obtain the attention of Mr. J. Harley's obsession with the Joker could also be seen as a form of obsessive-compulsive disorder. OCD is an anxiety disorder in which people have unwanted and repeated thoughts, ideas or behaviours that make them feel driven to do something. In the case of Harley, her obsession is to earn the affection of the Joker at the cost of her career as a psychiatrist and her mental state. And this traumatic bonding with the Joker is argued by many to be reminiscent of Stockholm Syndrome. Coined after the 1973 Normal Strong robbery, Stockholm Syndrome is described as when hostages begin to express empathy and sympathy and overall positive feelings towards their captors to the point of defending and identifying with them. However, one of the most vital parts about Harley's character is that she in fact was never kidnapped by the Joker and instead chose to become Harley seemingly all on her own, donning the iconic costume in Mad Love to break the Joker out of Arkham Asylum and in her New 52 origin after the pair escape. Joker subjects Harley to the same chemicals that bleached his skin, showing how Harley had completely given herself to the man who laughs. And I think because of this key difference, Harley isn't necessarily an example of Stockholm Syndrome. While she does display some similarities, instead her condition is more some sort of inverted Florence Nightingale syndrome, in which a caregiver develops romantic or sexual feelings for their patient. However, this is with the added twist of Harley, the caregiver, is the one being manipulated by her patient, so it is some sort of quasi-Stockholm Syndrome, Florence Nightingale syndrome. And I think that with the huge surge of popularity for Harley Quinn over the last decade, this is probably down to the fact that she seems simple, but in reality is a deeply tragic character on the surface. Harley's a sort of lovable character, but under this veneer of fun is a woman who's in love with a psychopath, and despite her efforts, her obsession with the Joker will never be mutual because his obsession will always be Batman. To the Joker, Harley's just another pawn, a useful tool at best, an annoyance at worst. And this shouldn't be romanticised at all, because at the core, it's not only abusive, but also tragic. And this element of tragedy is somewhat essential to the Harley character. I feel slightly uncomfortable seeing posts that romanticise the Harley-Joker relationship, because it's not cute at all. Harley is mentally ill and manipulated by a psychopath. The fact that she's making her film debut as part of the Suicide Squad, and not just Joker's entourage, tells us that DC are invested in making Harley her own character, because she's more than just the Joker's victim. And whether or not we do see Harley reunite with the Joker in the film, it'll show how twisted and psychotic the Joker really is, and how sad and tragic the story of Harley really is. As Paul Dini said, Harley gives us a look at ourselves through a funhouse mirror, and with her surge in popularity, I'd like to see Harley become her own character, and although she still is a psychotic murderer, set somewhat of an example to those who suffer it in real life in realising that it isn't her fault and be able to walk away. If that will happen in the near future remains to be seen, but still, it's clear that there's far more to Harley than just this so-called mad love. You know, I just couldn't resist to do a video on Harley Quinn with Suicide Squad coming out this weekend. She's just such a fascinating character, and I'm actually going to see the film tonight, so I'm very interested to see if it's actually as good or as bad as some people are going to say it is. We've also just hit 2,000 subscribers, so I want to thank everyone for the continued support. Next week, we're going to do a special comment response video where I want everyone to tweet me, email me at owenlikescomics@gmail.com, or probably the easiest way is to just leave a comment in the description. Literally ask anything. It doesn't have to be related to any of the essays. It can just be random. It can be questions about me, about the channel, about growing a channel, about comics, about movies. Literally anything you want to know. Leave as many comments as you want, and I'll try and get to them next week in next Friday's video. If you enjoyed this video, you can like, comment, and you can subscribe and stay up to date for the weekly comic book, movie, and TV related videos here on the channel. And you can also follow me on Twitter and any social media platform, really, just at Owen Likes Comics. And until next time, take care and keep reading.